Hi, this is Drew Erdman, the Chief Operating Officer for the state of Missouri, working in the office of Governor Mike Parson. I want to give you an update on our last quarterly pulse survey that we took a few months ago in September, and it's really a preview to the end of the year survey that we're going to ask you to complete in December. Now, I first want to bust one of the biggest myths out there, which is participating in the survey really doesn't matter. That's just not true. The truth is, we're working hard to improve the state of Missouri. Your honest answers provide the facts of how things are working and not working. And your answers shape the priorities across all of state government. And today, hopefully, prove to you that they're making a difference in how we improve rewards, recognition, and accountability. So hopefully, by the end of this, you'll feel that this myth is busted. So why does the pulse survey matter? Just a refresh. We need to hear your candid perspectives from all departments all across the state. The quarterly pulse survey asks the same questions of all 16 executive departments, and they help us understand how we're working together, how we're moving on major initiatives, and most importantly, where we can improve. And it's unique. And why is it unique? Because it allows us to track trends through time on some of these critical measures or questions. They allow us to get the results that help us compare results within departments and across departments. And most importantly, they help us identify those areas of success from which we can all learn from. And want to stress again that confidentiality is built into the survey process. All the responses are anonymous, no names required, no IP addresses recorded. Also, the select demographic questions we ask, they only help us understand some important potential variations, and that may be within departments, across divisions, maybe across regions, and also importantly between different levels of leadership, mid-level management, and frontline teammates. And want to stress again that there is no slicing of any of the data down to groups smaller than 10 that would allow any identification of someone. So let's get into the results. Just a reminder, participation rate from the last time we got together in September, fantastic. Over 23,600 team members responded from across the state. That's over 55% of team members. And what you see here on slide 6 is the comparison of participation rates with navy blue being June 2019, the royal blue being September 2019. And you see this for comparisons across all of the departments of state government. As a reminder, some of the departments underwent a restructuring in late August. You see some big shifts here. Look at the Department of Mental Health, a significant shift in its participation upwards, which is fantastic. Great to see that extra effort. Now, I want to hit the highlights of since 2017, we've been making progress on all 5 priority dimensions. So our direction, it's fantastic to see now the majority of the state workforce understands where their departments are heading. We still have ways to go, but this is great positive direction. Greater confidence in leadership to make the right decisions using the right criteria. Also, we see improved accountability here and clarity of what is expected of folks. And I'm going to say a few words in a minute about some of the specific results behind this that are a little more critical. On the motivation scale, again, it's good to see that things have moved upwards significantly. But want to emphasize, if you look at those results, we still have a long ways to go. But that measure, 36%, the bar is actually very high there. It's saying that's 36% of the folks come to work every day feeling highly motivated. If you included people who are kind of moderately motivated, it would be a much higher percentage. But we should hold ourselves to a very high standard. And then lastly, in terms of external orientation, look, that's just jargon in a way for how we look at our citizens that we serve, the customers that we serve, and also others who do what we do in the world to learn from them. This is one where we haven't improved as much, and we need to keep making improvements. Let's get into some of the details. So a really important headline message here is that what we've seen across almost every single department is an increased sense of personal ownership and results from all team members. If you look at this chart, and it's familiar from previous ones, what we've done is we've removed the names of the departments, but you can see the percentages here. These are the percentage change since 2017 in team members in different departments and what they say their managers are creating a sense of belonging in the organization and encouraging them to take a personal stake in their jobs. And what you see here is on the left a high of 23% change, and then every single department except for one has seen positive movement on this important dimension of personal ownership. Now, also we've seen in terms of accountability, most team members understand what is expected of them, and we've seen across the state an upward movement of over 6% since 2017. And this again is a chart that shows in navy blue the different departments, their names removed because we're not involved in a competition, but the idea is showing that the majority of state employees understand what is expected of them every day. Again, positive movement. Here are some of the challenges that continue. There's, of course, still an enduring challenge we have that we're going to continue to work on, which is different perspectives between senior leaders and frontline staff. This is just one example of the results, but you see here when asked the question, are people highly motivated? For senior leaders, and that's defined by those who are earning over $70,000 a year, it's 60% continue to say, like, yes, people are highly motivated in their experience. But you see there's quite a bit of difference to frontline staff. These are some of the barriers that we're going to have to continue to work on, both in terms of communication, but in terms of substance to make a difference going forward. Now here's something else that is very important and has been a highlight that we need to address. Most team members do not believe that we offer incentives for truly high performers. Again, what you see on this chart in navy blue are the percentages that agree with the proposition from different departments. Quote, the organization provides attractive incentives to high-performing individuals. What you see is that the statewide results are around 12%, but the highest department is only 24%, and there are 3 departments that are as low as 8%. Again, this is indicating that we need to take action to provide incentives for truly high performers. Now here's something else that we continue to have challenges with. Most team members also do not believe that we recognize individuals when they make a big contribution to success. You see the question there, which is, my organization provides meaningful, and this is non-financial rewards and recognition to those who deliver outstanding contribution. And you see the results. The best in state government is around 33 or 34%. The lowest is around 14%. But again, we need to be able to make this change where leaders are recognizing people who make individual contributions to success. And again, this is the thank you, the non-financial reward and recognition that is very meaningful. We need to increase its frequency across all of our departments. Here's what our team members are saying to us consistently. They want more accountability, quite frankly, including real evaluation and better recognition for the truly high performers out there. Just a few quotes. You see here the line that it's difficult to hold staff accountable unless we really spell out what performance looks like. Another call for increased responsibility and production over time should be rewarded. And then another quote calling for a more systematic approach to employee performance, and that doing so would be beneficial. We hear this across departments and across the state. This is one of the values of the quarterly pulse survey because it is shaping our priorities. Now going forward, how are we taking action? I want to stress Governor Mike Parson always emphasizes, what are we about? We're excellent citizens serving their fellow citizens. And if we focus on those first 2 words, excellent citizens, that's all of you. If we get that right, the rest will follow in terms of how we serve our fellow citizens. And so what are the steps that we're taking to make things better? So starting in the month of January, remember, this is going to be the biggest investment in the state of Missouri's workforce. Pay will increase starting in January 2020 with a 3% cost of living improvement. There's also select additional market-based adjustments to move over 5,000 more positions to market minimum. We're preserving our benefits. Corrections, transportation, and conservation have their own separate pay plans and approaches for this coming year. Now, how else are we going to invest in you and our teams? This is what to expect in the next few months in early 2020. And you'll hear more about this through department town halls and other communications. But we want to hit the highlights here. First, just as we mentioned, the compensation plans are going into effect on January 1st. Again, the largest investment in the history of the state of Missouri in its workforce. We're also going to be improving professional development and recognition through an update or reboot of Engage to Engage 2.0. That's going to include improved development and performance conversations. That's better tools, training for team members and supervisors alike. Also, significantly, we're going to be launching a new approach called Above and Beyond, a new approach to recognize superior performance, and also instituting regular upward feedback. We're going to be establishing a new way for team members to provide anonymous, and stress that, anonymous upward feedback to help their supervisors to improve as coaches and leaders. This is what we've heard from you is needed, and that's why we're taking action. For leadership expectations, we're going to be replacing the outdated management training rule with a new approach to give all supervisors the required training so they have the skills they need to lead and coach their teams wherever they are. And also, and this is important because we all want to have the best possible colleagues, we're going to be introducing for the first time a world-class, easy-to-use way to apply for all jobs in the state of Missouri with a central job application portal that all 16 departments will be participating in. I want to emphasize to you that we've already run a pilot in the month of October with over 1,000 team members of the new approach. So they tested the tools, the training, the technology. They've suggested improvements, and want to also emphasize that this test was done in a variety of work environments, from office work here in Jefferson City to late night shift work to field staff. All this was done thanks to volunteers from the Department of Mental Health and the Department of Agriculture. I want to thank them very much for their willingness to participate in this pilot. The most important headline from the pilot that DMH and Ag did back in October is that the feedback from frontline staff and supervisors alike is that the new approach is really a positive step forward. You can see some of the results here. 70% of the respondents agreed that the new approach gives them a better idea of how their supervisor views their performance, and 80% of respondents agreed that the upward feedback is going to help them develop as a supervisor. These are really great steps forward, and want to emphasize this is based upon the work of literally thousands of people across state government and the feedback that you've been providing over the months through the quarterly pulse survey and other channels. Again, these are major steps forward, and it's because of the feedback that you've been providing through the quarterly pulse survey and other channels that we've been able to make these improvements. And also the hard work of literally thousands of colleagues across all 16 departments. So you'll be learning more in the coming weeks through whether town halls or other communications from your departments, the change champions in all departments, and looking forward to the trainings to begin again in January 2020. So stay tuned for more. As we head into the holiday season, it's important that we continue this rhythm. That's why we're asking you to complete the next quarterly pulse survey. Remember, it only takes a couple of minutes. Thursday, the 5th of December, we're going to kick it off, and then we're going to close it right before the holidays on Thursday, December 19th. Thanks for your participation. And thank you for making the state of Missouri stronger, and have a great holiday season.